for you. The handgun registry in Canada has been around since 1934, and I think it needs to go because it's a waste of billions of taxpayers' dollars that can go into our retirement, our actual, women's shelters, law enforcement, tools for law enforcement, better tools, because the handgun registry hasn't saved a single life. It's as useless and the exact same framework as the long gun registry was. Also, too, it hasn't, deterred crime in any way. The illegal handguns are still illegal, and the bad guys are still bad guys, and they still have them. It hasn't saved one single life, and again, it's the exact same database as what the long gun registry was. So what I would like to see is that it gets abolished, so that can go into maybe my retirement, healthcare, gun safety courses, stuff like that. That's going to make a bigger difference. The other thing is I'm going to give you some statistics. When we're looking at the crime rate with firearms in Canada, we're looking at a very low percentage of something bad happening to you. Very, very, very low. You're more likely to be hit by a ping pong ball than get shot by a firearm. You're more likely to have lightning strike you than get shot by a firearm. And you're even more likely to be injured by a ping pong tournament than get shot by a firearm. We're a population of 33.5 million as of mid-2011. And we have a roughly about, in 2010, I don't know what the 2011 statistic was, it was a 44-year low across the board for crime rate in Canada. Okay, now the gun crime has been going down steadily since 1977, and the long gun registry came in 1995. Okay, now here's the thing. When we talk gun crime in Canada, we're looking at roughly about 40,000 reported crimes per year. Or charges or whatever. About 80% of them are usually dropped. This statistic is pretty much from Stats Canada. Now, these charges could be, unsafe storage charges, right up to robbery, assault, rape, you name it. Most of them are probably paper related. So you take away the paper crimes, I bet you the gun crime will go down astronomically. Now, the other way to look at it is this. Out of 545 people in 2010, I didn't look at the 2011 statistics, but they're typically between 500 and 600 people get murdered in Canada every year. I get it, one life is too many, but here's the deal. About 140 to 180 on average are with firearms. To give you another breakdown, and this is from Katie's Firearms Fact, 4 out of every 5 gun crimes are with handguns in Canada, and 4 out of every 5 are never registered, and 3 out of every 4 are never registered, and 3 out of every 4 homicides in Canada, the firearm is never found. So again, this registry has done nothing. And so, the handgun registry, the people that are registering the firearms are not typically the people that are doing the crime. Now you'll hear it's a great tool, but again, if this is an illegal handgun, this is a BB gun, by the way. I do have my restricted, but there's so many stupid laws. What they'll do is somebody will go out and do something with an illegal handgun, and then they'll penalize the legal gun owners, saying that we're going to make people safer. They're just feel-good laws. They don't actually make anybody safer. So the billions of dollars wasted on the handgun registry over the years since 1934, has it really been money well spent? I would say no. The other thing is the ATT, authorization to transport paper for restricted firearms. Although I do agree with a restricted firearms course because it pertains to safety and education, the ATT is basically you drive this route, only this route. It doesn't account for your vehicle breaking down. You can't stop for gas, whatever. Because they figure if you buy one of these and you were law-abiding when you bought it, but as soon as you buy this, then you're potential criminal, because if you own this, then you're going to obviously have thoughts in your head to go and murder, rob, rape, whatever. But again, that's because you own a handgun. It has nothing to do with personal intent, personal choice, and commitment of carrying out a illegal act in these anti-gunners' minds. They don't see it that way. I see it exactly that way. This could be the real thing. In fact, this could be the Beretta 92 that has that. I think it's the 92 and 96 has a full auto feature. You pull the trigger once and you have to use the magazine. And you know what? I would still be law-abiding. This could be a black powder muzzle loader, and I'd still be law-abiding. In fact, I will own quite a few firearms. No restricted yet because of the paperwork, and I'm just going through the paperwork. That's, so it's just a matter of time before I actually get this. But this is a BB gun, okay? And the RCMP has done a background check on me not once, but twice. And guess what? They found that I am a holier-than-thou law-abiding citizen. I've never been charged with a crime, and I don't plan on doing any crimes. And guess what? If I step up from a BB gun to a 9mm Beretta, I'm still going to be that same law-abiding person. Now, will I have more responsibility? No, absolutely not. Why? Because I treat this BB gun exactly the same way as I treat any firearm. I don't point it at anything I don't intend to destroy. You can use the 10 Commandments of the NRA, or you can use the Action Proofs of Canada's, gun safety course. And if you use safe gun handling, if you're safe, you're safe. If you're law-abiding, you're law-abiding. In fact, if this was a Tommy gun, which would be so cool, again, it wouldn't matter. When they looked at the rate on the Mauser report, Gary Mauser, I believe, is the guy that did the report, and the National Firearms, Canadian National Firearms. We have the CSSA, Canadian Shooting Sports Association, and the NFA, National Firearms Association. They basically are pro-gun, but these are privately funded, unlike the Coalition for Gun Control, who's NDP supported and UN mandates and Bill C-68. Trust me, it has everything to do with the UN. They support gun bans, and even Dalton McGuinty in Ontario thinks that these things should be banned. But again, banning guns does not ban. We already have a law that should do away with that. It's called you're not allowed to murder people. But yet people still murder people, and they do it. The most common thing you can get killed by is blunt force trauma, and it's usually crimes of passion or gang related. Most gun crimes are gang related. Now you're saying, yeah, but youngsters get them. Well, again, focusing on a guy that takes this to a range, okay, and lawfully practices target shooting, it will not affect the crime rate in Toronto at all, period. Closing gun ranges in Toronto, well, let's put it to you this way. Just do the research for yourself. How many multiple victim public shootings have ever happened at a gun show? None. How many multiple victim public shootings or murders at gun ranges? Very, very few. I've only found one in the States, and it was a disturbed lady shot her son. And that was a mental health issue, not a gun issue. Guaranteed if guns had never been invented, she probably would have clubbed them. That's why you have to look at it. In fact, let's go back before firearms were ever even made. Well, guess what? People killed people with spears, broadswords, arrows, sticks, rocks, clubs, hands. Let's ban hands. That's it. You can't have hands or arms anymore. Then they would kick each other to death. You know what I'm saying? It's all about intent. So again, why do we need a gun registry? Well, gun registries are about control, about knowing who has this. So when they do a ban by name, reputation, or appearance, which the RCMP does do, then we lose out on gun rights. And should a, say, hostile regime want to take over its people, well, here's another mindset from a gun owner. The reason why we need more pro-gun rights and more gun education in Canada. Every communist, every fascist, every nationalist, every dictator in history has always taken power with one stepping stone: ban the guns. And how do you ban guns? Well, you need a national registry to ban guns. Why? Because it's easier to find them. And who are you going to get these guns from? The law-abiding. The bad guys always hit. The bad guys, okay, in 1939, that had their illegal guns, guess what? Those were known as resistance fighters during the war. So think about it that way. Banning the gun doesn't ban crime. Bans never work. Education and training does work. In fact, the right to carry in Canada, again, with about 40,000 crimes reported, charges in Canada, 60 to 80,000 times a year, Canadians use firearms in self-defense. Again, this is from the Gary Mauser report and we don't have the right to carry. That's mainly hunters and farmers saying, get off my land, don't steal my cows, you know what I mean? Now, if we had the right to carry, I'll give you the American statistic. And again, don't believe a word I'm saying, look it up. And again, this is another reason why we need more relaxed gun laws. Because statistically speaking, everywhere we have more relaxed gun laws, the crime rate drops down by 30 to 40% on average across the board. Now, you'd think, okay, more guns, more crime, but it's actually the opposite. An armed society is a polite society. You have to negotiate with somebody who's armed. You know what I mean? And if you know everybody's armed, and you're a bad guy, well, you might take up an honest job because you're more likely to get shot if you do something stupid. Now, let me give you, just to finish up, why we need the right to carry in Canada. And any pro-gun videos I typically do, I typically put the links for my local government on the bottom, and you need to post this to your Facebook and stuff like that. But basically, I'll have the Conservative Party and the NDP Party. I don't think you're going to get much out of the NDP, but just let them know that you want the right to carry, and here's why. In the United States, okay, they've done the homework for us. 30 to 36,000 people on average get murdered every year, and 11 to 14,000 times per year it's with firearms. Now, you'd say ban all guns, right? But then look at it this way. 2.5 to 3 million times a year people use firearms in self-defense in the United States. 1 in every 1,000 is a shooting, 1 in every 8,000 is a fatality, and about 1 in every million legal gun owners does something stupid. So, and you're 4 times more likely to do something good with a gun in the United States than you are to do something bad. And this is from John Lott, the More Guns Less Crime guy, and the UN, but the UN doesn't count guns. You know, when it's pro-gun statistics, many anti-gun governments like the NDP, the Liberals, the Bloc Québécois, and the Green Party here in Canada, well, you know, those are just statistics. You know, they don't mean anything. So whenever I hear that it's the gun that makes people bad, then I say you need to do some research on it because it's in your best interest. And unfortunately, most anti-gunners are women, and women would benefit the best by having the right to carry with training and education. Who gets the guns? Well, okay, if you want to keep the background check, that's great. But when a madman goes loose, this is often what stops him. Maybe not the BB gun, but you know, the actual. It's always usually a good guy with a gun that stops him. And most people don't shoot. That's the good news. Often just showing a firearm. Well, even though this is unloaded, I'm just gonna. And I'm sorry if I'm pointing this at you, but okay. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Stop. Stop. Enough said. You know, if that was a real 9mm, enough said. You know, you won't even get the word stop or I'll shoot out of your mouth and they'll be gone. You know, I mean, there's no, I don't know what the statistic is, but I'd like to see what the compliance rate with a, you know, when a police officer pulls their gun, you know, how many people just give up right away, how many people run, how many people go for the gun. I would say there's probably a very high compliance rate to the firearm. Why? God may have made man and woman, but Samuel Colt made them all equal. And I guess, you know, if I could finish up with one last thing, again, just do the research, post this to your Facebook, but then call your MPs and MLAs, and again, I'll put some numbers below here. Rate, subscribe, spread it around. If you're Canadian, you want gun rights, we have to fight for them, and we should do it. You know, a phone call can accomplish a lot. I call the Conservative Party. Again, they're more gun neutral than anything, but this video is getting a bit long, so I'm going to have to cut it short, but there's always so much I want to say about it. But make your own videos, pass it around, do the research, find out what's, again, just look at the statistics worldwide. Anywhere there's high gun ownership, not so much ownership, but the right to carry, gun crime goes down. Not gun crime, but crime in general just goes down. Again, just something to, you know, to consider. So if I'll be making a ton of videos about pro-gun stuff in Canada, including the right to own a machine gun. So, because again, the firearm doesn't matter. It's all about user intent once the bullets leave the barrel. All right, rate, subscribe, post it to your Facebook, and make your own videos, and call your MPs and MLAs. And if you're in another country, call whatever government guys you got to call. All right, take care. Hey. Okay, I'm going to make a little gun rights video for you. The handgun registry in Canada has been around since 1934, and I think it needs to go because it's a waste of billions of taxpayers' dollars that can go into our retirement, our actual, you know, women's shelters, law enforcement, tools for law enforcement, better tools, because the handgun registry hasn't saved a single life. It's as useless and the exact same framework as the long gun registry was. Also, too, it hasn't, you know, deterred crime in any way. The illegal handguns are still illegal, and the bad guys are still bad guys, and they still have them. It hasn't saved one single life. And again, it's the exact same database as what the long gun registry was. So what I would like to see is that it gets abolished so that I can go into maybe my retirement, healthcare, you know, gun safety courses, stuff like that. That's going to make a bigger difference. The other thing is I'm going to give you some statistics. When we're looking at the crime rate with firearms in Canada, we're looking at a very low percentage of something bad happening to you. Very, very, very low. You're more likely to be hit by a ping pong ball than get shot by a firearm. You're more likely to have lightning strike you than get shot by a firearm. And you're even more likely to be injured by a ping pong tournament than get shot by a firearm. We're a population of 33.5 million as of mid-2011. And we have a roughly about, in 2010, I don't know what the 2011 statistic was, it was a 44-year low across the board for crime rate in Canada. Okay, now the gun crime has been going down steadily since 1977, and the long gun registry came in 1995. Okay, now here's the thing. When we talk gun crime in Canada, we're looking at roughly about 40,000 reported crimes per year, or charged.